How you doing, everyone? Scott back again finally. It's been a while. It's kind of like a month at a time now. I do try, I'm busy. But I'm back with a full vinyl update. I'm going to kind of split this into two parts. I'm going to do vinyl in one video and I'm going to do CDs in another. I've not really shown many CDs over the last few months and they're piling up, and there are some obviously that I want to talk about and show you guys and let you know my thoughts on them. So I'm going to do that in a separate video, hopefully in the next few days. I'm now off for just over a week, so I've got a bit more time on my hands. Catch up on a few long lives as well. But yeah, I'll do that in a separate video, so this video doesn't go on for like an hour. So we'll get straight into the vinyl. First one I'm going to show is an album that I completely ignored. When I first heard about it, I thought, you know what, I am not even going to give that a time of day. I am not interested. And the more I thought about it and the more I heard people talking about it and saying how good it was, I thought, you know what, I've got to bite the bullet and I've got to check this album out. So I went out and grabbed it, and it's KKs Priest, Sermons of the Sinner. I was going to say Sermons for the Sinner, but Sermons of the Sinner. Released in the last month or so, maybe the last couple of months. But, I mean, I'll put my hands up. This is a great album. And I'm so glad that I didn't ignore it because it's great. Obviously, you do have KK Downing from Judas Priest, Tim Ripper Owens, who also sang for Priest. And I kind of see this album as the album that Tim Ripper Owens wanted to make with Judas Priest. He kind of got shafted a little bit when he came in and did Juggernaut and stuff like that. I mean, if you're going to be the new singer for Judas Priest, you want to do like a proper Judas Priest album, and those two albums just weren't like your normal Judas Priest. This is, and when you listen to this album, you do kind of realise how much KK Downing gives to the band musically. It is just like listening to, you know, another Judas Priest album. And obviously Ripper Owens fits in there perfectly. He's got those vocals that he's just got that kind of range of Rob Halford, that kind of same tone as well. Highlights on this for me were Hellfire Thunderbolt, Sermon of the Sinner, the title track, Raise Your Fists, Hail for the Priest, Return of the Sentinel. Some just great tracks. There's not really any bad tracks on it. There's some that you could maybe do without, but they're not that bad. They just kind of, I wouldn't say they were skippers, but Metal Through and Through is a bit cheesy. Raise Your Fists is okay. But apart from that, a fantastic album. And I will admit when I am wrong. Inside you do get lyrics, and I think most copies are on white vinyl, so with custom centre rings. So just a great album. Don't sleep on KK's Priest because it's really good. One of my favourites of this year. Probably got one of the albums that have got the most spins in a row. So there we go. Glad to have that. Next up, I'm still on my Saxon journey. So like I said before, I kind of struggled with the early Saxon, so I kind of started off with Thunderbolt. Loved that, went back, picked up Lionheart. I'm sure there's another one I picked up as well. Can't remember what it is now. Maybe I didn't. But anyway, picked up Sacrifice, originally released in 2013. This was reissued on Silver Lining Music, 2017. Some great tracks. I mean, they've got this kind of guitar tone that kind of it follows them through a lot of their modern albums, but it's heavy, but it's thick, and it's just, you know, it's just like a true metal sound. I will admit, track 1, which is called Procession, it's not really a song, it's more like it's like a march with drums and all this kind of stuff. So when that fired into track 2, so it's like a kind of march, and it fires into the track 2, which is the title track, Sacrifice, I shit my pants. I had it on, sometimes when I buy vinyl on Amazon, the download goes straight into my Amazon Music account, so that's what happened with this. So I could play it in the van at work, put it on, you know, cranked the volume up, driving along, and it blustered into track 2, and honestly I nearly fucking crashed. It was that loud. I just wasn't expecting it. But Sacrifice is a great song. Made in Belfast is track 3. One of the tracks I really wasn't too sure about when I first heard it, but now that I've heard it a few times now, I really do like it. It's kind of got that kind of, obviously that kind of Irish, folky feel to it. Warriors of the Road, Guardians of the Tomb, Walking the Steel, Night of the Wolf, Wheels of Terror, all great songs. Kind of lets it down a little bit with the last song, Standing in a Queue. Lyrically strange, and didn't really do much for me. Bit of a letdown to the end of the album. Maybe I just didn't get it. But apart from that, another great modern album from Saxon. Next up is a release from this year. I'd never heard of these guys before, but this is actually their 3rd album, and it is the band Spacechaser. Now this is a really nice cover, matte finish cover. So these guys are speed metal, thrash, but kind of sci-fi based, as you can see by this awesome album artwork. And to be honest, it was released this year on Metal Blade. 3rd album. I think these guys are German. Never heard of these guys before, but I think I've just repeated all that. I know I've said all that. Anyway, side A, I was a wee bit deflated. I was like, you know, it's okay. It was pretty generic, to be honest. It was a bit like it kind of reminded me a bit like Death Angel, when, you know, like what's the album? It's not going to come to me now, is it? But it kind of reminded me of Death Angel, and they're wait a minute, I'm going to get that album. Right, so it's Killing Season, that's what it reminded me of. Kind of like a bad Death Angel. It kind of picked up on side B, but the tracks just kind of bleed into each other. They're not unique to themselves. It's just a bit, it's almost just like one big song. Like I said, it was a bit kind of more structured in the second half, but to be honest, side A didn't really do much for me. So I've only listened to this once. I will obviously give it more time and a lot more spins, but right now it's okay. It's probably like a 7 or maybe like a 6.5 out of 10 for me. And that is your gatefold. Probably shown you that already. But check them out. Like I said, kind of speed thrash, sci-fi. I've also got the download code. I'm not going to use this, so if anybody wants to jump on that, please help yourselves. So that is Spacechaser, released this year. Next up is going to be the comeback album from Onslaught and Killing Peace from 2007. This was reissued in 2020, I think. Yeah, Back on Black, 2020. A fantastic album. This is the return of Cy Keeler on vocals after Steve Grimmett in Search of Sanity. So I think there was, what was there, 18 years between albums, but really good. I put this on straight after Spacechaser, and what a difference, just in production, in songwriting, in structure. It was like night and day, chalk and cheese. Side A was by far my favourite. The first song, Burn, amazing. The best song on the album, I think, is the title track, Kill in Peace. It's a brilliant song. And that finishes the side with Destroyer of Worlds. But it's a solid album all the way through, produced by Andy Sneap, so it's going to have that kind of polished sound, but it's still heavy, thick. If you've heard the new album and you've not heard this one, they're not completely different. They're quite alike. Came on this double vinyl clear with custom labels. Well worth the pick up. Really enjoyed this. I don't know if it's because I was so deflated after Spacechaser that this sounded great, but I don't think so. It's just you know, it just made you want to just bang your head, basically. Some just superb tracks on it. And Psykiller sounds awesome. So that is Kill in Peace by Onslaught. Glad to have that one in. Next up, another band that I just kind of sleep on all the time. I kind of compare this band to James Bond films. Now, I wouldn't say I'm a massive James Bond fan, but whenever I watch a James Bond film, I always really enjoy it. And this is the same for this band. Whenever I don't really say I'm a massive fan of this band, but when I put one of their albums on, I always really enjoy it. On the heavy stuff today. So the band is Grand Magus, and it's their 6th release, The Hunt, which was originally released in 2012. This is again Back on Black 2019 reissue. Comes on this doubled splatter vinyl. Really nice. Honestly, I wasn't really looking for this. I just, it came up on eBay when I was looking through metal albums, and it was like 13 quid. So I was like, no brainer. I really like Grand Magus. But it's just not a band I always go looking for. So got this in, great album. I've never been disappointed by them. I kind of jumped in with Grand Magus with Sword Songs, which was released 2016, so 5 years ago. Picked up Triumph and Power, really enjoyed that, and then I just kind of fell off with them again and didn't really chase any more up. And then obviously this came up for such a great price, I had to grab it for a double LP set, and you know what, it was great. Track 1, Starlight Slaughter, great song. Sword of the Ocean, Valhalla Rising, Storm King, Silver Moon, they're all just packed full of riffs. They've got the Iron Maiden gallops in there as well, but the singer's got a really unique voice. He's got kind of like a low gruff voice. There's kind of some doomy elements in there as well. Just well worth your time, and a band that just don't get talked about enough. And the thing is, when people do talk about them, they always say great things about them. So I don't know why people don't kind of like jump on their albums. So Grand Magus, The Hunt, excellent. And maybe from now on, I will actually go looking for their albums. Next up is an album from Halloween. This is the reissue of the Dark Ride Special Edition. This was originally released in 2000. So 21 years old. I can't believe that's 21 years old already. Reissued in 2019. I'm going to be honest, this is one of my favourite Halloween albums. This was, when I first heard Halloween, it was Keepers 1 and 2. And then I made this big jump to Seven Sinners, which I think is also a great album. And this album, The Dark Ride. And it is a darker version of Halloween, which I think they do amazingly well. Check out some of the tracks on this. Escalation 666, Mirror Mirror, If I Could Fly, which was a single off this album, The Departed, Sun Is Going Down, which is an Ule Kush song, and they actually gave this song to Halloween. It was actually for a different band, Beautiful Sin, but what they did is they remixed the lyrics and kind of, it has the same, pretty much the exact same backing track, but different lyrics. It's actually a song called Lost, which he released actually after this album with the band Beautiful Sin. But anyway, check out The Departed, Sun Is Going Down. It's a great, great song. It's probably one of the best songs I've written in the last 20 years. And you've got The Dark Ride, which ends it, and you've got bonus tracks there as well. But don't kind of sleep on this era of Halloween, because I know a lot of you do, because a lot of you have spoke about this, but it's definitely one to try out. Like I said, it's that kind of darker version of Halloween. Very, you know, a lot of it's in like minor keys, and it's just, I think, a great album. I mean, I'm not saying it's all great, but it's well worth your time, and it's just an album you really don't see people showing. So there we go, The Dark Ride by Halloween, and I love that cover as well. So the last two are going to be picture discs. So I'm not really a massive picture disc fan, and I probably wouldn't have picked these up if they were kind of your standard picture disc. You know, when they come in like you just get like a disc in a bag like this. I'm not really into them. I do have some albums on picture disc, but I mainly bought these because when you try to buy an OG of these, they're 40 quid plus. When you're trying to find a black vinyl edition of these, they're really hard to find as well. You know, like a reissue of these. So I went for these picture discs, but the picture discs do come in a gatefold and like a proper sleeve and stuff, which I'm about to show you. So the first one is Forbidden and Twisted into Form. So I've tried so hard to pick this up, OG or otherwise, but it's just not been happening for me. So I saw this picture disc, which does come, as you can see, in the proper sleeve, gatefold with lyrics. Like I said, if I could have grabbed the black vinyl edition, I would have, but it's just nowhere to be found really. But these days, you don't really have to fear the picture disc. The sound is really good on them now. And to be honest, I'm not a complete and utter audiophile anyway. All I do is stick a record on, pump up the volume, and jam out to it. So it's not like I'm sitting back with a sherry, picking every note out the air. I'm just sitting back with my edible and having a heart attack. So anyway, there we go. Forbidden and Twisted into Form. Just an amazing follow-up to the debut. A lot of people would probably pick this over the debut, but I just love the debut. I just can't pick this over the debut. But that doesn't take anything away from this album. It's still a tremendous album that every thrash fan should have. So there we go, Forbidden and Twisted into Form picture disc. And the last one, same again, same story. Hard to get the OG of. I've been really unlucky. Really hard to find a reissue on black vinyl as well. So I opted for the picture disc of Exodus and Fabulous Disaster, originally from 1989. These were both reissued in 2016 by Century Media. Again, comes in this kind of gatefold with lyrics. And probably the highlight for me of Exodus's discography. I mean, the debut and Fabulous Disaster are probably the ones that get the most praise. And there's side A and side B. So happy to have them. They come in polyline sleeves as well, so you've not got a bag that's going to like stick to it and all that kind of stuff. They're presented pretty well, so happy with that for now. If I do come across the reissue or the OG that I can afford, then you know I will grab it. But this is a pretty good holding. This is a, what am I trying to say? Holding placeholder. This is a good placeholder until I get the versions that I really want. So there we go, Exodus and Fabulous Disaster. So that's it. I'll see you pretty soon for my CD update. And yeah, until then, thanks for liking, subscribing, all that stuff. And I'll see you guys very soon. Let me know what you think in the comments. Cheers.